Hey guys, this is Echo Sours, and you're checking out a first look video for ADSR. In this video, we're going to be checking out a new filter plugin by Izotope called Mobius. It was recently released within the last week or so, and it is a pretty interesting effect plugin, and as the name suggests, it's centered around filtering, but in a kind of a unique way. So what its whole goal is essentially to replicate the Shepard effect. Now, the Shepard's effect, or the Shepard tone, as it can also be referred to, is basically it's a sound that just seems like it just keeps on rising or falling depending on what direction it moves. But it's actually an auditory illusion of the tone that's continually moving either up or down in pitch. So it's this phenomena that I don't want to get into the science of it. Check it out if you've never heard of it. It basically would act like a filter sweep that goes nowhere. It would just keep on rising either up or down. You can apply it on synths, you can apply it on tonal sounds, white noise, whatever. Well, that's what Mobius is really centered around. It's this idea of this continuous movement. And that's where I think it does have some really nice creative merit. And we're going to check out some of the controls here. So let's listen to it. Let's turn it, make sure that it's off. We'll listen to this little demo real quick, and then we'll mess with it on the synth sound. So let's talk about the interface real quick. It's a really basic interface. It has kind of like a old school, for some reason this reminds me of the rings in Sonic the Hedgehog Sega Genesis. If any of you guys know what I'm talking about, you'll maybe be like, yes. But it's a really interesting interface. It's pretty basic. So let's solo this synth sound real quick. You have up here, you have this, if you double click, this will be the visualizer. And depending on how you have things set down in this bottom section, the visualizer will look a little bit different. So if we move the direction, we change the filter, change the speed, the visualizer becomes very different looking. Okay, so what happens when you change this direction knob either up or down, it's going to slant the diagonal lines in an opposite direction. We can see that here. So here they're kind of going this way. If I turn that the opposite way, they're now slanting that way. So this is just a visualizer up here. Now down here you have the XY slider. Now this is where you create the movement. This is where you're going to move the little Sonic Hedgehog ring around and it will change the sound. So this is where you can do sweeps. You have a cutoff frequency down here and you have resonance up here. So you can do really pretty expansive filter sweeps using that. Now down here in the bottom section, you have a filter type switch. You can toggle between them by hitting filter type, or you can just select between the two. The first one is faker and the second one is peak. So if you arrow over any of these GUI elements inside of Mobius, you'll get a little hotkey. So the faker, it says, enables filters with a blend of alternating positive and negative gain. What that means is you'll hear a pitch that's kind of rising and falling at the same time. Okay, now if we go peak, peak enables filters with positive gain only. All right, so you can pause the movement. Maybe you just want like a static, kind of a flange, coursey type effect that's not moving around or sweeping. Or some resonance. Or you can then use this to automate where it's moving around in the strength of the XY pad. Again, we've already touched on this direction, but you can move it up or down, and you can sync it to the host, which will be more rhythmic values like quarter notes, eighth notes, all that. And then you can unsync it for hertz values. I've liked using it in the unsynced mode where it's in a hertz value. I think it creates a really nice musical feel. And if we turn the mix down, it can just slightly affect the sound. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn on latch mode on my read or write, touch mode. So then what I can do is just hit play and I can move the little ring around and it will write that to automation. So we'll check out how that works. We're gonna play it. All right, so let's change this back from touch to read. And what touch allows you to do, if you don't know, it allows you to actually touch the control. So it's really easy to do with things like an XY slider, because then you just play the section or the region, whether it's audio or MIDI as it is in this case, and then you can just move the controls around. And you can see there behind this that there's some automation lanes going on. So let's look at that. So we have, if I go here and we choose the center frequency, there it is. And here's the resonant frequency. And then you can see both of them down that automation lane view. But this, if I now turn this back on and we play this, it'll move around without me touching it, indicating that's being automated, which is really cool to do with this specific type of sound. I think it can add just a nice bit of movement. So this is kind of a fun thing that I've been using on pads, some synths. You can use it more aggressively if you sync it to your host and you turn the mix up. I actually think it's a great tool for varying chords with future bass. If you guys are into that, I would check this out. But I've mainly been using it as a way just to create some subtle movement. Kind of creates like a flanger phaser type effect, but has a slightly different feel in the mix, which I like. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know below. If you haven't checked out the Mobius filter, head on over to Izotope and check it out. Link will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Sowers. I'll see you guys next time.